has walked through centuries, untouched by time. He has seen empires rise and fall. He possesses the wisdom of the ages. Throughout eternity, no man has ever provoked such terrible fear and such haunting desire. Dracula, starring Frank Langella, with Laurence Olivier.
I am the last of my kind, descended from a conquering race, but I must warn you to take good care. If at any time my company does not please you, you will have only yourself to blame.
Oh God, help my poor soul.
Dracula, the story of the greatest lover who ever lived, died, and lived again.
Sacrilege!
Dracula.
Right, hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to Friday Night Appointment with Fear, episode 70. Yes, I had to check. And Wing Grace is here already saying, let's get spooky. Yes, let's get spooky indeed. And Josh Temple's arrived because he's here with his harpoon. I hope it's a silver-tipped harpoon because we've got vampires to fight. Anywho, so let me get rid of that. There we go. Just a minute. Right, okay. Just sorting things out. So this week we're doing Dracula from 1979, starring Frank Langella, directed by John Badham, whose previously biggest film, maybe his only film, I don't know, I never checked, is Saturday Night Fever. He did that in, I think, 77, I think that was, wasn't it? This is from 79. Info about it. Right, off we go. It had a budget of $12 million, box office of $31 million. It was classed as a bit of a disappointment. It didn't lose money, I don't think, but they expected it to do better. As I said, directed by John Badham, who would go on to do stuff like Blue Thunder and other stuff. My brain stopped. But I remember Blue Thunder. Screenplay by W.D. Richter, who did the 1978 Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He would go on to direct my favourite film, Buckaroo Banzai and his adventures across the 8th dimension. Obviously, it's based on the 1897 novel Dracula by Bram Stoker, but mostly the 1920s stage play. But it does drift from both. And it stars Frank Langella, Laurence Olivier, Donald Pleasance, Kate Nelligan, Jan Francis, Trevor Eve, Tony Agarth, Sylvester McCoy pops up briefly. And some other people. And it's got a great score by John Williams. Right, so off we go. Right, let me get back over here. Right, so before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. We're live on YouTube. Let me double check. We're live on YouTube. Hang on. I'm already getting a bloody copyright thing. Hopefully we're fine. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Rumble, yes we are, and we're live on Twitch, yeah. Right, later on I'll upload it to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts and Google Podcasts. Hang on, there's the Blu-ray I watched earlier on, in the German one. all the menus are in German, but luckily it does have English audio. Why can't we get normal, in the UK, why can't we get regular UK releases anymore? They always seem to come from bloody Europe. Anyway, unless you want to pay like £1 million, for the latest Scream Factory release or whatever, or is it Anchor Bay, or the other ones that do these special editions. Anyway, copyright for that old trailer. Yeah, well, it happens. It happens. Right, so let's get on with it. I won't bother plugging me books. Let's get on with the film. Right, so what we'll do, I will make that full screen. As usual, hang on, I've muted it. We'll see. As usual, we'll not be watching the film because I'll get into trouble with YouTube, you know, copyright and all that. We're watching it in a series of stills, and I'll try and remember the things I've read about it and seen on the making of documentary that were on the DVD, but not on the Blu-ray. Try and remember that. And stuff I've read as well. Right, so, what else? Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Right, so we're off, right. I don't know what I'm doing tonight. Right, so, do we do it like that, or do we do it like that? I do it like that, don't I? Yes, I do, right. Oh, dear. I've no idea what I'm doing. Right, off we go. Right, there we go. There's the Universal logo about to appear. I'm not sure if this version is the tinted, not tinted, what's the word? Unsaturated version, or if it's like an in-between. The trailer showed the full colour version. It was originally released in like a full colour version. Oh, Joshua Knapke's here. Hello, peeps. Happy Groundhog Day. Oh, they pulled the rat out, didn't they? And Bill Murray went through a time vortex today. Did it see its shadow? I don't know. I've not looked it up. Anywho, when it was originally released, it was released in full colour. John Badham originally wanted to film it in black and white, to be like the Bela Lugosi one. And yes, the assembly is complete. The Council of Joshers. He really wanted to do it in black and white, but obviously Universal executives poo-pooed that idea and told him to, film it, in full glorious Technicolor, which they did, and it was released like that. But then in the early 90s, when DVDs came about, John Badham went back in. I don't know why Universal agreed to this, but he went back in and desaturated it, so it's not quite in black and white. There are some quite colourful bits in it, but it's mostly like muted colours, and I don't know why. Either do it in black and white, or don't. But apparently you can get the original, full colour version. That's the version I prefer, but I think the version we're seeing here is the one with muted colours. Josh was saying no shadow, early spring. Is that good? I don't know. Yes, I suppose it is, isn't it? Right, off we go. Universal, my favourite logo. I just love it. I don't know why. Right, we get a wolf howling, and then we get the credits. The Mirish Cup. That could be a clue that he wanted to do it in black and white, because all the credits are in like grey and black and white and all that. You'd think they'd be in red, wouldn't you, for blood? But anywho, so we see a bat like that flying towards a laser. This apparently is the Who's laser. Remember in Alien, which we'll probably do soon, to be honest. The original Alien, the laser effect in the derelict ship. That were rented from the Who, and this as well were rented from the Who. Apparently, the Who's stage show used to rent out their laser show and all that, and their equipment to movies. This came out the same year as Alien, so probably around the same time. So they rented the Who's laser show. Who? You? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Yes. Oh dear. Anywho, so there's the bat flying towards this laser, and then we see Dracula. But there we're seeing St. Michael's Mount in Cornwall. It's supposed to be set in Whitby. The whole of this film is set in Whitby. Like the Dracula the novel goes all over the place. This one's entirely set in Whitby, but it wasn't filmed there. It was filmed at is it Pinewood Studios? Let me check. Hey, where are we? Shepperton, I'm wrong. Shepperton Studios, Black Park, Buckinghamshire, for the bits probably where the car chases, or car chase. And Cornwall, Tintagel, St. Michael's Mount, and when we see some different shots of that. It's a matte painting by Albert Whitlock. So, but we'll get to that. Right, we're off. Anyway, and John Williams scores. Hang on, I'll unmute it. We'll have a quick listen to John Williams' score. It's all very dramatic. It's all very dramatic. Right. So there we go. Kate Nelligan. I'm sure she's Canadian. I'm sure I've read somewhere she's Canadian. Let me check. I should have checked before, I know. Yes, she's Canadian. I thought I'd read that somewhere. She does a decent posh English accent. I'm sure she had a coach. There we go. Music composed and conducted by John Williams. As we presumably in a helicopter. This was long before drones, but in a helicopter shot flying towards St Michael's Mount in Cornwall. But then we're now aboard the Demeter, heading towards Whitby, and we're seeing there's dead people on the ship. Joshua Kanapke says, can't go wrong with John Williams. No, you can't, can you? It elevates a bad film, does a John Williams score. Not that that's the case here. Anywho, so we're on the Demeter. And there we go. There's one of the crates saying Count Dracula, Whitby, Yorkshire, England. It's only just in Yorkshire. Whitby's in North Yorkshire, up on the North Yorkshire coast. I'm in West Yorkshire, quite away from Whitby. Anywho. So anyway, they're in a storm. Obviously, stuff's been happening, and they're chucking all the crates over the side. And one of them, they're speaking in, we're told it's Magyar. Which is Hungarian, isn't it? But I thought they were from Romania, Transylvania. I don't know. Anywho, so they're chucking the crates overboard because they think something's going on. And we hear growling and stuff coming from one of them. The captain's lashed himself to the wheel. There we go. Overboard, throw overboard. That bit's in English for some reason. But then one of the crates comes open in a minute. Hang on, I've probably gone past it, have I? I don't know, maybe. Bloody skip function on this bloody player. Oh dear, probably missed it, probably gone past it. Let's go back. Here we go. Right, it comes open, you see it's got all earth and soil in it. So you're not vampire. Mate, I'm not, no. I always wanted to be a werewolf. When I was a kid, I always wanted to be a werewolf. And in the early 80s, there were a brief phase where CB radios were really popular in the UK, and people, that didn't drive about used to use them. And my handle, because I got a CB, I could just about reach the next street. My handle was Wolfman. But because I always wanted to be a werewolf when I was a kid. But anyway, this is about vampires. But there's a wolf-like hand comes out there, and it rips out this chap's throat. Look, Anyway, the ship is dashed on the rocks. There we go. Some cool model work, by the way. The effects in this film, the practical effects are good. Like I say, cool model work. Some nice makeup effects and stuff. But the effects by Albert Whitlock, which were supervised by Maurice Binder, who's famous for doing the James Bond opening sequences for the classic old James Bond films. They're not so good, but anywho. I keep saying anywho, I don't know why. I'm a werewolf fan, not a Sparkle Nightwalker. Yeah. Scary vampires and scary werewolves, that's what we want. Not all this wishy-washy nonsense. Anyway, so there we cut. Hang on, let's go back again. Here we cut to, this is Dr. Seward's Insane Asylum, which is actually filmed at Tintagel. Is it Tintagel or Tintagel? The legendary birthplace of King Arthur in Cornwall. Apparently there's a big mansion up on the cliffs and they filmed it there. Which couldn't be, much further away from Whitby. Cornwall and Yorkshire, like opposite ends of the country, but never mind. But this is Donald Pleasance as Dr. Seward, obviously different to what we see in the book and all that. There's no Lucy Westerner in this and all that. There's no whatchamacallit, I forgot his name now. Quincy. No Quincy in this, nobody vying for Lucy's affections and all that. There's none of that going on. In this, Lucy, they switch the characters of Mina and Lucy around. Lucy is Lucy Seward and Mina's Mina Van Helsing. But so the swap room, and Lucy is the fiancée to Jonathan Harker. Anyway, so he's going up to see what all the patients are freaking out about. It's because of the storm, isn't it? It's a storm. They're all crazy. The main helper of his is played by I'll have to check, Teddy Turner, and a good Yorkshire actor. They're all crazy. He talks like. But so he says, for God's sake, give these poor wretches some laudanum. And then they're asking, where's Miss Lucy? And Miss Lucy is with her sick friend Mina. So that's where we learn, looking after that friend of hers. So then we cut to, this is Kate Nelligan, there's Lucy Seward, reading a letter from Jonathan to Mina, played by Jan Francis, who's famous in the UK. She did a lot of like TV dramas and TV comedies and stuff like that. But apparently she was a dancer before she became an actress. And the dancing scenes in this, I think we see her and Dracula dance. Oh, we see I forgot her name now. Lucy and Dracula dancing, and we see Lucy and Jonathan dancing, and Jan Francis choreographed those scenes. So, saving a bit of money, I suppose, weren't they? So there we go. She's reading that Jonathan's got his new job at Snodgrass, Shilling and Wallop. A good old-fashioned firm of solicitors name. Anyway, the window blew open then, so she goes to shut it. And I can't remember her name. I'm going to have to look her up. She's like the housekeeper, and I've seen her in a million other things. Where are we? Where have I put it? Let me see if I can find her. I think it might be her. Yeah, it's Christine Howarth. What have I seen her in? I'm going to have to look her up. What have I seen her in? She's been in loads of stuff. All Creatures Great and Small. Oh, Dracula, obviously. The Needing Line. That's a lot of British TV stuff. Star Maidens, remember that one? I've got that on my computer. Acquired legitimately. But look that one up, Star Maidens. Z Cars, not Z Cars. Yeah, just basically TV stuff I recognise her from. Right, where were we? Right, so there we go. She's saying Dr. Seward wants her on the wards right away, so she's got to go and help out with the lunatics, basically. So remember, she's ill, is Mina. I don't know what she's ill of. She's just ill. She gets iller later. By the way, all the interiors were filmed at Shepperton, and the exteriors, as I said, were filmed in Cornwall or in Black Park. So there we go. There she's. I think this is. This is the baby of this character who's, I can't remember her name. Oh dear. But I remember Annie. It's Annie, played by Janine Davitsky. Another face, that British people know from stuff. But obviously, she's in the asylum with her baby. And spoiler, that baby comes a cropper later, and it is quite chilling. Because they don't shy away from it, which you think they might. The bells are ringing to warn the ships, but it doesn't help the Demeter, does it? But then Mina wakes up, and by the way, yes, she's Mina Van Helsing. She's the daughter of Abraham Van Helsing, who we'll see later. Lunatics, we're back to werewolves again, I see. Yes. People driven mad by the full moon. Anyway, she wakes up and she gets, obviously, has some compulsion to go outside in the driving rain. Much like Lucy did in the 1992 Dracula, remember? She did that, didn't she? That Lucy, that looks very bad, doesn't it? Is that? Oh no, it's real. Look, I was going to say that looks like a proper model, that, doesn't it? But it isn't, because she's there running across. Doesn't that look like a teeny tiny little model? But it's actually full size, unless they've got a teeny tiny person to run across it. Anyway, so she's running across this cemetery. The ship is being dashed on the rocks, and she arrives just in time to see a bloody great wolf jump overboard. Are we going to see it? No, we're not, because of the stupid skip function. Let's see. There it is. Dear. So I'm probably going to get more bloody copyright strikes here because of the skip function. It doesn't work properly. Skips too much. You should be able to set it. Why can't I set it? I've looked. There we go. There, the wolf appears. I wonder who this is. But the wolf appears and jumps overboard and runs into a cave, and she sees it, and so she follows it, as you would. But she follows the wolf, and she doesn't find a wolf. She finds a man in a fur coat. Here we go. And John Williams scores, going dun 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 dun, giving it all that, all dramatically, as Frank Langella's fingers appear. And so she's rescued Dracula. I don't know where they got the coat from. He was a wolf a minute ago. It's magic. It's magic. You're talking about bloody Twilight now, aren't you? Oh dear. I've seen the Twilight films because my son were into them, so he forced me to watch them with him. And you know what? They're not that bad. They're not brilliant, but they're not as they're not the worst films I've ever seen. Anyway, she's rescued Dracula. So she's obviously gone for help, and they've taken him to wherever, and he's fine and all that. And then we cut to the next morning. The locals are on the beach, basically salvaging what's left of the Demeter and the contents therein. They will see the crates with soil in them. Because remember, he's got to sleep in the earth of his homeland, hasn't he? Wingrace says, I've actually never watched or read Twilight, but I know the basics. Yeah, I think everybody does now, don't they? I've watched them, not read them. But here comes Jonathan Harker in his old jalopy. Here he comes. He's the solicitor for Dracula. This is Renfield. I can't remember what they call it. Is Miles, I think. Milo Renfield. Played by Tony Haygarth, who may be most famous to non-British people as the voice of Mr. Tweedy in Chicken Run. No chicken escaped from Tweedy's farm. That's Tony Haygarth. I remember him. He was in a series in the late 70s, maybe. I can't actually remember it. It might have been around about this time when this came out, 79-ish. It was in like a sci-fi comedy series called Kinvig, about a fella that helped these aliens repair their spaceship. And it was written by Nigel Neal of Quatermass fame, and it wasn't that good, but it was sci-fi. Joshua says, only read first book, it was very meh. Movies got progressively worse, and I never watched the last one. The last one was stupid. It was. Chicken Run was great. Sequel incoming. It's out, is the sequel. It's on Netflix, but no Mel Gibson, so I don't care. I've not seen it. My son's seen it. I think most of the original cast are not in it. Maybe all of them. I don't know. I've not seen it. My son's seen it. He said it was all right. It's on Netflix. Anyway, Renfield's obviously working for Dracula. Obviously, in this, he's not the predecessor to Harker. In the book, Renfield, was one of the solicitors that went out to Dracula and went crazy, didn't he, when he came back? And but in this, he's just like a dog's body, you know, a handyman for Dracula, lugging his crates about and being very Yorkshireman-ish and saying, "Oh, bloody hell, that hurts." But anyway, then we go to Bobby's there, and presumably the harbour master, just letting everybody take the stuff because I think they're allowed to. But Dracula's stuff, you know, they're getting that taken up to Carfax Abbey. And there we see what's left of the captain with his throat torn out. They were saying, is this cargo the Count's? And then he's saying it's can't touch that, and he says, oh, you can, and oh, I don't know salvage rights, but anyway. So anyway, they get Renfield gets Dracula's stuff up to the Abbey. That's the gist of it, and we learn that he doesn't like Harker, because apparently Jonathan Harker sold his house out from under him, he says. But then Mr. Seward, Dr. Seward, sorry, behave yourself. The cat started, hasn't she? As soon as I start a bloody stream, she starts. Look, she's been sitting there. She sat there quietly for about an hour. Anyway, Dr. Seward he tells Renfield he's inviting Count Dracula up to Billerbeck Hall for dinner. Well, I'll give him the message. And then we get another shot of the dead captain. There's Billerbeck Hall in the daytime. As I said, it was filmed at Tintagel. And I suspect there may actually be a bit of Albert Whitlock matte painting going on. Probably with the clouds, and probably definitely with that bit there, maybe. There's a few of them in the film, and some of them I'm not sure which. Some of them I know they are, and some of them I'm just guessing. That looks matte painting, he doesn't it, that bit there. Why did they change so much of the story for this film? I don't know. They just did, didn't they? They've decided to keep it in one location in Whitby, and move. I mean, John Badham were asked why did they swap the characters of Mina and Lucy around, and he says, I can't remember. But they just did. And somebody else said, it might have been Richter, W.D. Richter, said that they wanted the main female character to have a softer sounding name. So Lucy, slightly softer sound than Mina, I suppose. You know, Mina. They wanted Lucy to be the main female character, so that's probably why they changed that. Anyway, right, some cows. Here comes Jonathan in his jalopy. His car is, hang on, I've got it written down here somewhere. Where have I seen it? Not written down, highlighted. Jonathan Harker's car is a Hispano Suiza. Never heard of them, but that's what it is. By the way, the movie takes place in 1913. So it's not in Victorian times, it's in Edwardian times. Yes, it is. Hang on. Yes, it is. Oh, it is still a very solid watch. It's a great film. I like it. Oh, she started. Right, you're going out. Come on. Come on. Bloody animal of mine. So she's been sitting there quietly for ages, and as soon as I start, it's got some talking. I think it's got some talking. She can't stand the sound of my voice. Anyway, where were we? Oh, he's arriving in his car with Dr. Seward reading something. And apparently, I didn't know this about Donald Pleasance, is what they call it. He's called what's known as a handkerchief actor, where he likes to use props, apparently to get himself more screen time. Apparently directors don't like their actors to use props or eat or do stuff like that. You know, you see them because it makes it tricky for like doing retakes and stuff like that. They've got to remember what they were doing. so that they generally just go with the first take, apparently, if they're using stuff or eating something, and they don't cut it down, apparently. So they get more screen time. And apparently Donald Pleasance was infamous for that. And if in this you see him, he's using props all the time. In that he's reading a book. He's always eating. He's always shoving sweets in his mouth and stuff like that. So, but I think, fine. Get yourself more screen time. That's what I say. So there we go. So Lucy and Jonathan are reunited. There's Sylvester McCoy, looking after that little white pony. Would go on, obviously, to become the Doctor in Doctor Who, and Radagast the Brown in the Hobbit films. I remember him. He used to, I don't know the name of his character, but he used to be a fella on, there was a kids' TV show called Vision On when I was a kid. It was like a kids, it was like an art show sort of thing where I forgot his bloody name now. Tony Hart, who was a British artist. He used to do a lot of children's TV, teaching kids how to draw and stuff like that. And Vision On were like a show that he were on, and Sylvester McCoy were on it as well. And they were always chasing this weird furry creature that used to bomb about the walls. It was bizarre. It was the 70s. Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes, so this is where we learn that they are engaged to be married, and they're having a good kiss, and Dr. Seward's not impressed. He says, steady on, wait until you're married. And then we see Tony Agar. Oh, let's go back. There we go. We get a nice. I think that's an Albert Whitlock matte painting of the castle, because I don't think it looks quite like that in real life up on St Michael's Mount. I think he's made it more jagged. So that's supposed to be Carfax Abbey at Whitby. Whitby Abbey doesn't look like that. There ain't like an island in the middle of the sea that you have to go on like a causeway to at Whitby. It's a lovely place, is Whitby. I've been a couple of times, but it doesn't look like that. And I've been to Whitby Abbey as well. So here he is, Renfield, dragging the crates up into the Abbey. We see it's very dusty and cobwebby, a bit like my house. Is that where you learn to draw? You know what? It might be. It might be what inspired me to pick up a pencil or whatever. I don't know. That's Tony Hart was a staple of British children's television when I was a kid. He was. If you know the character Morph, this little plasticine, animated plasticine fella, that was Tony Hart that came up with him. One of the early creations of, speaking of Chicken Run, of Aardman Animations. So there we go. But anyway, where were we? Right, he's dragging these and he's chuntering. Is that a Yorkshire word? Chuntering. He's moaning about it all the time. Bloody hell, it's heavy. Up the stairs, Christ. So he's lugging this up the stairs, and then we see one of the crates that's already up there. Dracula emerges. So he's pulling the crate up the stairs, and then he sees Dracula, and he says, "This is the last one, and not doing anymore. Not a bloody machine." That's what he says in a minute. There you go. I'm looking for you because I'm not a bloody machine. He's the comedy relief. He's Renfield in this, but then Dracula turns into a bat. Here we go, and attacks him. He falls down the stairs, and the bat effects are not the best, but you mean learnt? Yeah, whatever. Dear. The bat attacks him, but I don't know if it does it attack him or just scare him and make him fall down the stairs. I'm not actually sure. We don't see what happens. Then we cut to a carriage. This is carrying Dracula to the lunatic asylum. There we see some photos and a skull and a crocodile for some reason. Wonder who these images are of. The Seward family, I presume. I meant turned. I don't know what you're talking about. You've lost me. Anywho, they're talking about the shipwreck and all that. There's Teddy. I forgot his name already. Teddy Turner, did I say? Is that his name? Yes, Teddy Turner of Swales. So they're talking about the shipwreck and the wolf, and they say it was probably the ship's dog or the ship's mascot or whatever. But Dracula's arrived, and Swales, this chap, like the butler and also the assistant in the asylum. Said they found somebody's dog dead as a doornail, its throat torn out by some savage claw, they say. But then Sylvester McCoy introduces Count Dracula. It doesn't say any Yorkshire accent though. Well, slightly. He's Scottish, isn't he? It's Sylvester McCoy, so I presume he had a slightly Scottish accent. So in he comes, the reveal. So they're all happy to meet him. Because they don't know he's a vampire. Turned adjective, informal, US, under the influence of alcohol or drugs. I got really turned up and left with some girls. All right. Okie dokie. Didn't know that one. Didn't know that one. So we see, Miss Lucy looking rather pale, and but it mentions she's looking well. Does Dracula to Miss Mina? Sorry, not Lucy, to Mina. But Lucy says, "I don't think she looks well at all." You can tell she must have had elocution lessons from some dialect coach, because she's all very enunciating and all that. They say, well, perhaps a trifle pale, but and then he's introduced to Jonathan Harker, who they've only conferred with through letters. So it's all been arranged, by letters and stuff like that, as in buying Carfax Abbey. Jonathan Harker never went to Transylvania in this version. Luckily for him, but he says, he likes the Abbey. He says it's an amazing place, and Lucy giggles. He says, I can't imagine anybody wanting to live at Carfax Abbey except possibly Milo Renfield. But he says, a house cannot made be habitable in a day. And then he says, and how few days make up a century? I thought, well, was it 36,500, isn't it? If you want to be accurate-ish. Because there's leap years to throw in as well, isn't there? So not very accurate. Anyway, there we go. How few days go to make up a century? 36,500 and a few. Right, so there we go. On a sense, live in a new house would be possible because it's from an old family, from wherever, Transylvania. And then Swale says, I've got dinner hot if anybody cares. So they're going for dinner. They go, come along, Count, food. Because he's obsessed with food in this film for some reason, is Dr. Seward. So he escorts her in. She's very taken with him because, it's Dracula and Frank Langella. But anywho. By the way, if you notice his eyes, if you noticed it before with Frank Langella, his eyes move involuntarily when you get close-ups of his eyes. And that, I've highlighted that as well. I forgot what it's called. Where are we? It's up here somewhere. Frank Langella suffers from an eye condition called nystagmus, or nystagmus, I don't know, which causes one's eyes to move involuntarily. The producers were aware that this might detract from the menace he was able to portray in the role, but cast him anyway, as they trusted in his overall screen presence to make the role work. In many scenes, his eyes are seen to be moving erratically, while in other scenes he can be observed to be keeping them still, either through force of will or by focusing on objects in the distance. So there we go. I've noticed that before, though, with Frank Langella. That, he has this, sometimes his eyes do this little judder sort of thing. And I thought, I wonder what his eyesight's like. Does he wear glasses? I don't know. Anyway, maybe he's got used to it over the years. Anyway, so they're enjoying dinner, but if you notice, he's not he's got his soup there, and he's not touched it, and he's not got anything. They offer him some wine, and he does the old, "I don't drink wine." He don't do it in a Gary Oldman accent. He's going, "I don't drink wine." He just says, "I don't drink wine." And then they start talking about the log that they've received from that they've got from the Demeter, because he thought it were lost, did Dracula, but apparently they found the ship's log, and there were one word in the logs. It were all in another language. One word that Mina seems to think might mean undead, and the word is Nosferatu. Duh, duh, duh. But Count Dracula says, "Oh no, it just means not dead." There's quite a distinction. Don't say it like that, but so there we go. Not dead. And then Swales cuts his finger, and Dracula notices that. Oh, bloody it! And anyway, all right, Mina says, "Dead, not dead, it all scares me." And Lucy says, "Oh, I love to be frightened." And he turns to her and says, "Do you?" And then Jonathan and Lucy have a dance. I think they're doing a tango. I'm not really up on dancing, but I think it's a tango. And Dracula's watching. Yes, I will call him Dracula. As he looks through the log, but he says he can't translate it because it's written in Magyar, and he pronounces it Czechly. Or Chekel. No, pronounce it Chekel, that's it. Don't pronounce the Y at the end. But I always thought Magyars were Hungarian. But I could be wrong. It's supposed to be from Transylvania, isn't it? Which is in modern-day Romania. Maybe they overlapped. I don't know. The only way I know Magyars were Hungarian is back when I was a kid, I had a brief sojourn in collecting stamps. And one of the most common ones that you could buy, like from stamp, like stamp collecting sets, well, Hungarian ones, and they all said Magyar poster on it. So that's how I guessed that Magyars were Hungarian. Anyway, so saying he can't translate it, so never mind. And then Mina we learn here that he's come to England because he wants to be in the whirling rush of humanity. He wants to walk the streets of London. I thought, well, they couldn't have landed further away. London's over 250 miles from Whitby. But anyway, never mind. But then I think Mina takes ill. She gets a little faint. I think this is it. Oh yes, look. Oh, I come all light-headed. So obviously Dr. Seward says, "Get some laudanum," because that's his answer for everything, isn't it? Laudanum. Unless it's his own daughter. He won't give his own daughter laudanum later on. But he tells Swales to get some laudanum. But Count Dracula says, "No, don't give her drugs. It'll pollute her blood." So he does a little bit of hypnotism, and they're all sceptical about it. And he says, "I'm not going to be waving my arms about." So he does a little hypnotist thing. And says, "You will feel no pain, and when you awake, you will not remember anything of this." So he does that, says that to her, and then he moves away and does a little thing with his finger, and she comes to. Here we go. There we go. Does that with his. And she comes round and says, "What are you all looking at me like that for?" And she seems fine. Then Dracula wants to go and sign documents and stuff with Jonathan. And Lucy says, "Oh, this is the party. We've got to have a dance and all that jazz." So here we go. So she has a dance with Dracula. Jonathan's looking a little bit jealous. By the way, Trevor Eve, another actor, there he is, from British television, and I can't remember what he used to be in. Let me look him up. I can't remember what he used to be in. Shoestring, that's it. He was in a series called Shoestring. That's what he's most famous for in the UK. And he's done other things as well, obviously. But Shoestring was his big thing that he did. A detective series in the early 80s, I think. Late 70s, early 80s. Anyway, right, so he goes home, does Dracula, and then we see Lucy and Mina sharing a bed. So that was a Mystery Science Theatre 3000 thing. But she wakes up in the night, does Lucy, and she gets out of bed and goes downstairs and looks out the window. And then we get a scare because Jonathan sneaks up on her and says, "Oh, don't ever do that." So I thought you liked to be frightened. There you go. So they have a little, play about in the moonlight. I'm guessing the storm has passed. Well, it has antics. We saw it. But Dracula's watching from the rooftops, and I think now he's going to start scaling down the walls. Now Mina's by herself. So here he comes. We're going to see it now. Here he comes. Comes down the wall, Batman style. And that's basically how they shot it. I think it was on a slight slope. I don't know which way. I don't know if it was crawling upwards or downwards, but it was on a slight slope. It was cabled up. But it was more or less flat, but it wasn't vertical. So we could scale down it. So we saw this in the Gary Oldman one. It's in the book, isn't it? It's described that he can scale vertical walls. And anyway, and this is a cool scene, kind of slightly reminiscent of Salem's Lot, which we saw the same year. That was 1979 as well, wasn't it? Salem's Lot. He's scratching at the. There we go. He's scratching at the lead on the windows. There you go. He's scratching at that with his claws, and she looks across. Hang on. She looks, and we see. Is it going to show us, for Christ's sake? As the camera pans and Dracula looks at us, he's upside down and all. So she's shocked and scared, and I think he does it enough of a pain. A little piece of glass falls out, and he can come in. Obviously, he doesn't. Well, he's been invited already, hasn't he? Obviously, he doesn't have to be invited, but he already has, hasn't he? But I don't think they play on that in this, that he's got to be invited. But he has anyway. So in he comes with his eyes and all that, and he's hypnotising her. Look, she's ready for him. Come and drink me blood. Meanwhile, Lucy and Jonathan are canoodling in the greenhouse. There they are. Well, not quite canoodling, but you know what I mean. There we go. That's canoodling. And she goes back and she finds that Mina's, I think Mina takes ill the very next day. She sneaks back into bed thinking nothing's happened. There we see the Albert Whitlock painting again of Carfax Abbey. Yes. Remember he fell down the stairs earlier on when Dracula turned into a bat. Did Renfield. And now he wakes up and he goes, "Oh, bloody hell, that hurts." There we go, bloody heck. So he's looking for some bugs to eat. There we go. Nice and juicy. There we go. So he's eating his bugs. There's a funny scene later on with his bugs. But Dracula appears and he's screaming as Renfield. He says, "You have nothing to fear." They're talking about wolves in Transylvania and all that. And he's promising he'll give him eternal life, etc. I'll make sure we're still going. Are we? Are we still going? Yeah, I think so. I think we're fine. Yeah. Right. He's promising him, eternal life and power over others and all this stuff. As long as he's his servant. Can we see his eyes doing his? There we see his eyes doing the little movements. Anyway. Right, what's happening next? We see that apparently Whitby's a mining town. I don't know if it is in real life. I don't think it is. But in this, it's a mining town. We see they're coming out from the mines. Maybe they were inspired by Cornwall, tin mines in Cornwall. I don't know, but they're coming out of the mines anyway. The kids and the grown-ups, and they're all jolly because they're all working men and kids because that's what they got up to in them days. But we've got to remember that, so there's mine tunnels under the town, we learn later on. right, Lucy wakes up and Mina's struggling with her breath. She can't breathe. Oh no, what's wrong? So she calls for Daddy. He comes running in. There's Dr. Seward, and she can't breathe. She can't get her breath. So it doesn't know what to do. So obviously, doesn't do a tracheotomy on her. Just slaps her a few times, and but then she dies. There we go. She expires in front of him. There's poor Mina Van Helsing. So, she's dead. And then there sees puncture marks on her throat. You see him? Yes, you can. There they are. And he says, they're not wholesome. Oh, what's he talking about? And Lucy says, what do you mean, not wholesome? But anyway, so they've got to send sending a telegram or whatever to Abraham Van Helsing that his daughter's died. So, and he's got to come straight away. And now he's eating again. Hang on. As we see, a nice breakfast. What are they having? Let's have a look. Sausages. Are they kidneys? Like kidneys, don't they? Mushrooms, maybe. Bacon, eggs, and tomatoes. Good English breakfast. Anyway. Oh, and there's he's shouting down the phone. Mina has died. No, not lied. Died. So, he's been very blunt, isn't he, in his telegram. Well, I do hope the professor gets it. But anyway. So, he doesn't know what's killed her, But they got to wonder what's going on. Oh, and Lucy feels guilty about it. Because, she was with Jonathan when Mina, presumably took ill in the night. So she blames herself. It's like another Albert Whitlock painting. Right. So Jonathan's, there we go, he's just arrived, look. He's arrived at Carfax Abbey. And so he knocks on the door and finds his way in. Not done much with the place, has he? As Dracula. He could get a feather duster and just run round. Get some cleaners in. He's supposed to be rich, he's a count. But obviously he likes it like that. Anyway. So he's taking up the stuff for him to sign, basically. Sign the final deeds or whatever, taking those up to sign. And he's learned about Mina dying and all that. And so says, my condolences, etc. There he's signing all that stuff. Telling him about what were in the crates was soil. Because he says, I have a keen interest in botany. I was like, yeah. Oh, there you go. I was like, yeah, as if. All right. Then he says, I'd like you to go to London immediately with these letters and stuff. Tomorrow, and he says, I can't. I've got to stay for the funeral. So he says, oh yes, of course. Well, right after. And there we go. Lucy blames herself. She was with Jonathan when Mina was taken ill, and but we learn that the count is taken with Lucy as well. But then he invites Lucy and Dr. Seward to Carfax Abbey for dinner. I think he'd want to tidy up, wouldn't he, first? But he says, I would invite you as well. You're welcome, of course, but you won't be here. So he's getting him out of the way, isn't he? There you go. So off they go, and he's driving away in his jalopy, in his Hispaniola Suisse, or whatever the hell you pronounce it. But Renfield accosts him. You've got to help me. He's a monster. So they take him to the... hang on. Before that, we see a fruit bat hanging from a tree. What fruit bats have got to do with vampires? I have no idea. But we see a few of these in this film. Not many fruit bats in Whitby, I'll tell you that for note. Anyway, but... one thing that I didn't like about this film, these fruit bats, because Dracula doesn't turn into a fruit bat. Turns into a regular bat. Well, a vampire bat, obviously. Not a bloody fruit bat, a flying fox. They're kind of cute, aren't they? Anyway, so they take Renfield to the asylum. There you go, they've got him in a straitjacket and they're going to chuck him in a cell. And there you go, he's shouting, "The master's angry, promise me lives, not little ones, humans," and all that. And then we cut to the funeral, Mina's funeral. I got that wrong, didn't I? Van Helsing hasn't arrived yet, by the way. But they're getting her in the ground. It's all subdued. And it's all very sad. They kind of have a little bit of a falling out. I don't know what over, to be honest, but he's got to go to London, and I think it's because he's jealous. Because he's jealous of her. Obviously, he thinks Dracula's got eyes on Lucy, which he has. But anyway, so he's heading off for London. But Dr. Seward says he can't go to dinner with Dracula, so they'll have to, send a messenger over to cancel or apologise. But she says, "Oh, ridiculous, Father, I will go." So she's going by herself. And then goes sending a carriage round at 8. And I think he's eating as well. Is he going to? No, he's got sweet in his mouth. You can see, I think. There you go. There you go. They're burying Mina, or filling in her grave. There's the carriage heading to Carfax Abbey. There's another. Looks like another painting, doesn't it? Probably is. It's cool. By the way, St Michael's Mount in Cornwall, straight across the channel is it Brittany? I think it's Brittany in France. There's an almost identical thing called St Michael, Mont Saint Michel, which is like another island just off the coast with a castle or whatever on some building on it, which is curious, isn't it? Is it coincidence or deliberate? I don't know. Anyway, that's by the by. What's happening here? Right. Oh, well, they're at the railway station. It's Whitby Station, and the train's arriving, bringing Professor Abraham Van Helsing, played by the late, great Sir Laurence Olivier. Oh, was it Lord Olivier? I think he was, wasn't he? I think they made him a lord by the end. But anyway, so they greet him. They must be friends, because, they give a hug and all that. But, all very sad because his daughter's died. Anyway, so she's arrived at Carfax Abbey. She said, "Bloody hell, Dracula, put a duster to the place." What the hell's that? First time I've noticed that there. What's a big massive bat there for? Is it something? I've just noticed it. I didn't notice it when I watched it earlier on. A huge bat head there above the bottom of the stairs. Like a big nose there at bottom. How bizarre. Never noticed that earlier. Anyway, she's arrived. Hello! Cobwebs, and we've got a spider appears. You see it? Yeah. So they're going to have dinner, with all these bloody cobwebs dangling down and stuff. I just said, who made this? Who made this dinner? I don't see many servants running about. Anyway. She'd been having, this is where he's saying to Van Helsing that Mina had been having nightmares and stuff. She wasn't well, and he prescribed laudanum and all that. But she died of a great loss of blood, apparently. But they can't explain it. And they're talking about it. And there's hinting that he's been around a long time, and that he's buried many people in his life and all that. Jonathan Hack tells me you speak some Romanian. I should hope so, because that's where he's from. But anyway, never mind. Oh no, I think Dracula's saying that to her, isn't he? It's Romanian, not Romanian. Oh, for God's sake. So anyway, so she's falling for him. He's hypnotising her. He's falling for her, and then somebody comes smashing through this window, a stunt person, obviously, and goes running off into the night. And we hear a scream, and Annie appears, and she's screaming, saying that her baby's dead. So they go running up and see the window smashed. And Van Helsing and Dr. Seward go running up, and we see the going to show us it. There we go. Poor baby's dead. See, they don't shy away from it with blood and everything. And there she's explaining what happened. She just came in, took the baby, and drank the blood of the baby, and then jumped out the window. And said, "Oh, you don't know who it was?" He says, "I do so. It was Miss Lucy's friend Mina, who we put in the ground only yesterday. Her eyes were red like rubies, and she'd teeth like all dripping blood and all that." There you go. So that's where we learn that Mina's become a vampire now. They're standing on some terrible bar. They say, "Dracula, your house is a shithole. See to it. Get it tidied up, man. Bloody hell. You've got money. Hire some people. Get it sorted." That's what I'd be saying. Anyway, so there we go. They're gonna embrace and all that. They're falling in love. I think she genuinely is falling in love with him because it's Frank Langella. He's super handsome in a kind of I don't know, mysterious way maybe. I don't know, but he is, isn't he? He's got presence, hasn't he? Charisma. There we go. They're kissing. Is he going to bite her? Don't know. Maybe he does. I don't know. I can't remember. Right. The next day at breakfast. Obviously, he's eating again, as you see. He's asking Van Helsing if he wants breakfast, and he says no. He's a little later, perhaps. He's looking up vampires. There we go. Is Van Helsing. Probably in the Encyclopedia Britannica, I imagine. Here we see Mina's grave. Van Helsing's put garlic plants on. As he sits there, Lucy comes along, and he's explaining the garlic plant. And so he's asking, does she believe in corporeal transference? And all this, supernatural stuff. Basically, he's asking, do you believe in the supernatural? And he's going to talk about the legends of Europe, of werewolves and vampires and stuff like that. There you go, creatures who suck the blood of the living, and he suspects that Mina was attacked by a creature that is undead, a Nosferatu. He gives Lucy something that we're going to give to Mina. It's a crucifix. He gives her that. Wear it always. But then we see a horse heading towards us in dramatic slow motion. It's Dracula arriving on horseback in the daytime. I know it's cloudy and stuff, but maybe it's like close to sunset. Maybe I don't. Maybe the sun's just set and it's like twilight. Not that twilight, proper twilight. Maybe because the sun was low, wasn't it? We saw it dipping down behind the mansion, didn't we? The asylum. Anyway. He's asking what that cross is, and so it's a gift from Professor Van Helsing, and so they invite him back inside. He says, "No, I've just come to pay my respects to poor Mina and all that. So with your permission," he says, "with my blessing." So anyway, so they go back in and they leave Frankenstein. They leave Dracula outside. So anyway, he's watching, and we see all that's going on. Dracula's horse is rearing up and all that. And then he rides off at full pelt. Oh, hang on. No, never mind. He does. So I think that gives Van Helsing an idea. By the way, Laurence Olivier were really ill when he were making this. He had some condition that the slightest agitation of his skin could cause him to bleed profusely, even if I think he had a wig on or a toupee, something like that, and even like adjusting that, the abrasiveness or whatever of it on his skin had started bleeding, it wouldn't stop. So they'd been really careful with him, and I think Frank Langella, I think Frank Langella says he was surprised that he was so ill when they were making this. We were surprised he lasted another 10 years when he died. I don't know exactly when he died, but about another 10 years. Anyway, has this idea to bring a white horse. I think it's got to be a white horse that they release into the cemetery, and it finds the grave of the Nosferatu. Meanwhile, Lucy's got the crucifix around her neck. There we see a photo of her and Mina. But she takes it off, look, and just hangs it on the dresser. Meanwhile, they're doing that with their with the horse. What if he should break a leg? He won't, he'll be fine. So it goes straight to Lucy's grave, and it starts, doing that with its hooves. Res Renfield looking on. So they decide to exhume Mina's grave. I think that's Renfield eating a bug off the yes it is off the bars. Likes his bugs, doesn't he? There you go. The horse is freaking out on Mina's grave. Meanwhile, Dracula's about to arrive now in Ray Harryhausen fashion. I do like this effect. I said it before in another film recently, didn't I, where they did it like with fog coalescing into a human form. It just reminds me of Honor Blackman in Jason and the Argonauts. But there you go, he appears out of the fog. Dun-dun-dun-dun. I am Dracula. Anyway, he don't bother with the scratching off the lead. He just opens the door this time. It must have been unlocked. And he comes in. He's ready for action. Look, he ain't got his tie on now. He's all ready. Look. He's wanting some, a bit of Lucy Totty. He's basically there to seduce her and half turn her into a vampire. I don't know. But there's all this. Oh, then we have the love scene. Right, so it's going to happen in a minute. He's going to bite her. And then we're going to get the lasers out again. Here we go. With John Williams' score. Dun-dun, dun-dun, giving it all that. Then we've got the lasers. I say, what did I see it on now? I saw it on, I was watching an Oliver Harper. Go subscribe to Oliver Harper's YouTube channel. He does a lot of movie retrospectives, and I'm watching one of him doing this film. And he says, this scene, it's very like an introduction to a James Bond film because it was overseen, supervised by Maurice Binder. I think the effects were done by Albert Whitlock, but it was supervised by Maurice Binder. And he says you could put James Bond credits over this. Nobody would know any different. But there we go. With the laser. So this is the love scene between Dracula and Lucy, and we see a bat and everything. There we go. There comes a bat in a minute. Oh, no, it don't. A bat appeared as well. But then he does he cuts himself and she drinks of his blood. So she becomes, Dracula's bride. Meanwhile, they're digging. And they find Mina's coffin. I'm getting mixed up with them. Find Mina's coffin. They are still going because the chat has been very quiet. Oh dear. I hope it's still working. Should be. Anyway. Fingers crossed. Anyway, right, where were we? They find, they open Mina's coffin and it's empty. She's not there. So what why ain't she there? Because obviously she hadn't got out and dug herself out because the grave was undisturbed. But then they see there's like a hole there in the side of her coffin. All right, see with it. I get worried. I think as something happened with the stream and it's not telling me. You're engrossed, aren't you? Just engrossed on the film, or is it engrossed? Whatever. Anyway, there's a hole in the side of the coffin. Yes. I know it's early for you lot, isn't it? It's late for me, but it's still middle of the day for you lot. Still at work and stuff. Anyway. See, there's a hole there, so she's dug her way out, and this is where we learn that she's gone into the mine tunnels that honeycomb underneath the town of Whitby that I don't think it happens in real life. But anyway. So he decides to go down. He's going down his old Van Helsing. Because he's an action star. And he's got a big stake, look. And he's got his cross. So down he goes into the tunnels underneath. They're not very deep then, these mine tunnels. If she can just get out the side of her coffin and into the mine tunnels, I mean, that means all the bodies in the cemetery are probably just falling into the mines, aren't they? Anyway, never mind. So he's looking in the mine tunnels for it, and there we see more fruit bats. There's a few of them. So obviously they're not vampires, they're just fruit bats that are just hanging around. Did Dracula bring them, or are they native to Whitby, these weird Whitby fruit bats? Don't know. And there's another one there, look. Or is that just the shadow of this one that we're seeing? Could be. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, there it is. Cute. But there's a few of them. There's one there, there's one there. There's a few of them knocking about, look. Why they're there, don't know. Dr. Seward's waiting up above with his 2 crucifixes. He picks another one up for extra protection, as we see. Go on. There, look. Yep, I'll have that one as well. Bit of extra protection. What would I say? Handkerchief acting. Making use of the props. Let's see, more of these fruit bats hanging about. Are they real ones, or are they just paper mache ones? They don't look real, do they, them? But they've got them. Oh, that one is, obviously. But they've got them hanging there. But he drops his... One of them flies by him, and he drops his cross into the water. This muddy water that suddenly becomes really clear in a minute for some reason. He drops it and he's looking for it. But then... Hang on, I've gone past. But then there's a thing here I don't understand. Maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe there's an explanation. I don't know. But he sees in the water that's suddenly gone clear and reflective... he sees the reflection of Mina, who is now a vampire, remember? And vampires aren't supposed to cast reflections, are they? Later on, in a few minutes, we're going to see that Dracula doesn't have a reflection. Is it because she's not the main... Is it just the main vampire that doesn't have a reflection? Then people that he turn do. I don't know, but she's got a reflection anyway. And this was always my favourite bit of this film. This where he encounters Mina, because I think she's genuinely scary looking. There she is with her, fiery red eyes and the fruit bat in the background. Ignore that. But she's talking to him in Dutch, because it's supposed to be Dutch, aren't they? And she's talking in Dutch. I don't know what she's saying. I think she's saying, come to me, because she's like, Papa, come to me, or whatever, in Dutch. I don't know, I can't speak Dutch. It's probably what's a smoke. But anyway, so she lunges for him, looking genuinely scary. Who would have thought Jan Francis, darling of British TV comedies, light-hearted, light entertainment, is one of the scariest vampires on film, in my opinion. But she attacks him, and hang on, and but hang on, I went too far, went too fast. She attacks him, but Dr. Seward arrives just in time. He must have heard a commotion, I don't know. But he arrives and pulls her off. There we go. And then he sticks the... hang on. It's where he... they usually show this, don't they, in all the Dracula versions. There you go. He shoves the crucifix on her forehead. Forehead. Why do... I once did a writing course. Sorry, I'm going off subject now. I once did a writing course, and it like one of these correspondence ones, and where they set you things to write about. What's the word? Like topics to write about, whatever. And anyway, one of them were about to do stuff that the kids say, or funny things kids say. And I always used to. Aidan, when he was little, he used to joke about 5 heads instead of 4 heads, your forehead. He used to call it his 5 head, because he thought it was funny. And I wrote that in a little thing to send off to this correspondence writing course. And whoever were in charge of it, I can't remember, it told us a name, but I can't remember, sent a letter back saying, yes, this is funny, but it doesn't really work, as forehead is pronounced forrid, not five-id. So five-head wouldn't work. I thought, since when were forehead pronounced forrid? Stupid woman. I cancelled it not long after that, to be completely honest. Didn't get my money back, but never mind. Anyway, so he puts the crucifix on a five-head, forrid, and it obviously all burns and leaves a cross-shaped mark on her head. But then she falls towards his stake, Van Helsing's stake. There we go. Boom! Spears his own daughter. But, there you go. It looks like a bloody deadite, don't you, from Evil Dead? So he's released her from the vampire's curse. But not yet. Not yet. She's still accursed. Anyway, Jonathan's back. He's arrived at the at Bideford Hall. Is it Bideford? I don't know. I don't know. The asylum. He's arrived there. He's gone looking for Lucy, but she's not there. Oh, excuse me. Oh, yes, she is. She's not well now. She's all cold, and so I think she's got the marks on the neck, I think. But they're going to there you go. But they're going to give her a blood transfusion, so that's what they're going to do. So there they go. So Jonathan's going to give his blood, and Van Helsing's telling him to put the garlic around all the windows and the doors and that little room over there, because he's got speaking with a Dutch accent. And then he goes downstairs. While they're busy upstairs giving Lucy lots of blood, he pops back downstairs for a drinky poo in front of the big mirror. And then Dracula walks in. I think we see the door open. There we go. By itself. But it's Dracula. It's Dracula with his cape and everything. Because he means business. But he obviously knows he's there. And he says, Count, I knew you would come. And you don't cast a reflection in the mirror. And so Dracula throws and smashes the mirrors. That's 7 years bad luck, isn't it, for a start? But he's going to kill Van Helsing. He says, "You're a most unusual creature, Count Dracula." So they have a little bit of banter, and he gives him the old, I who have commanded armies, blah, blah, blah. So he lunges, they say, "I've got a surprise for you," and he holds up some garlic, and Dracula goes, But he lunges for him, and he's... and we're going to see his eyes. Look, his eyes are doing that thing. Look, his eyes are doing that thing. And he tries to hypnotise him, and he makes him come forward, a step towards him, drop the garlic, and, come to me. But he resists, and so Dracula lunges for Van Helsing, but he's got his little... I don't know what it is. I'm not religious, so I don't know. A little religious thing with a cross on it. He holds it up. There we go, like that. I'm going to see it. He holds it up just in time. There we go, that thing. I don't know what they're called. He holds that up. So he's like, he runs away, basically, and he turns into a wolf as he jumps out the window. There we go. And whee! There we go. Cool. So, and he runs off. Just lopes off. Not really galloping off into the night, just lopes off at a gentle pace. And Joshua's busy as well. Everybody's busy, except me. Oh dear. So Van Helsing, they come down. They don't know what's happened. Because the window were open. It didn't smash the window. It just jumped out the window. So Count Dracula was here, and Jonathan said, "Oh, really? What did he want?" Because he doesn't know he's a vampire. And says, "It is he who is the vampire. He came to kill me." I don't know why I'm speaking like, 'cause he doesn't talk like that, but there you go. "And now he will prey upon you. He must find where he sleeps and, get rid of him and all that. But first, they've got to dig up Lucy. They must have shoved her back in a coffin, maybe. I don't know. But she's there. Anyway, they've dug her up. Or maybe they brought her out last night. She's just been lying there on that trestle board, whatever the hell it is, all night. But it looks like they've just dug her up, doesn't it? So did they dig her up and fill her in? I don't know. But she's there. And we see she's turned back to normal now. But she's still accursed, as we see, because Jonathan's still struggling to believe that she's a vampire. Because she just looks like normal now. You know, he didn't see her when she were all fangs and red eyes and a big burn on her forehead. So he doesn't believe it, really. And he's just got Van Helsing's word for what happened with Dracula the night before, hasn't he? But he's seen the puncture marks on Lucy's throat, hasn't he? But anyway, he says, seeing is believing, does Van Helsing. It produces a mirror, a miroir. And I don't expect you to believe anything except your own senses or your eyes or whatever. But then he does this, and we see that he sees, look, and then he says, come on, have a look, come on, gather round for this amazing trick. You know, if it's going to show us. There we go. And I wonder how they did this. Let me have a look, see if we can. Is it a visual effect, or is it just a case of, I don't know, or is it just reflecting? It's just the angle, and it's reflecting this side, her left, the empty board, I don't know. But anyway, she's not casting a reflection. She cast a reflection in that bloody puddle, didn't she? Anger. But she's not casting a reflection now. But she bloody did before. Turn it off, it's rubbish. Anyway, so he believes now. So he says, we've got to cut her heart out. He said, what? But, Van Helsing says, I've got to do it. It's his daughter and all that. Got to cut out her heart and she'll be freed of the vampire's curse and all that. In the Coppola version, they chopped off her head as well, didn't they? Anyway, so here we go. So they're going to cut her heart out. And there's Lucy's watching, wondering what's going on. And she asks, I forgot her name. Mrs. Galloway. She asks Mrs. Galloway to go and make her a cup of tea. She's feeling rather cold. By the way, I think this is filmed with a split diopter, because as you can see, the background and everything with Mrs. Galloway is in focus. But in a minute, when she passes, we see that the background behind Lucy is blurred. In a minute. Maybe not. I don't know. They're going to show us. It is anyway, honest. I'm not kidding. Right. So, they're back after cutting out Lucy's heart. I don't know what they did with it. Maybe they just buried it with her again. I don't know. But they come in to see Mrs. Galloway, who's made tea for Lucy. Says, oh, she's feeling much better. She's in her room. And he says, oh, the bloody hell is supposed to be looking after her. And goes running up. And then we see she's gone. And she's not got the crucifix on. And there you go. I think that's her in there. I think she's taking a carriage. So they're going to go, what's happened to his hair? He's that scared. His hair's stood on end. Is it because he's running to the wind? Yes, it is. He's got very bouncy hair. So they go chasing after her. Got a car chase now. Bit of one. They're going chasing after her. She's in a pony and trap. He's in his jalopy. Presumably this is in Black Park in Buckinghamshire. So they're chasing after her and they stop her. There we go. And I think she threatens to kill herself. If you don't let me go, I will kill myself. There you go. If you try to stop me, I shall kill myself. There we go. I shall. Do people still use the word shall? I shall do this. I always found it old-fashioned. For some reason, I always found some words that I think are really old-fashioned that, shouldn't really be used anymore, like shall and whilst. Anyway. Right, so this is where he's learning that, she's under the spell of Dracula. So they've got to sort out Dracula and free her from his spell. There you go. So she's freaking out, but they've calmed her down. And they take her back to the asylum where Dr. Seward shoves his own daughter in a cell, but it's for her safety. Anyway, so they go to Carfax Abbey and go looking for his boxes of soil. There we go. So they go find them. And this is where Dracula appears out of nowhere. Is it this bit here? Because he appears here in a minute. But they're going to open it up. He's going to stake him. Look, but he's not in there. Oh, see, I've missed it now. They open it up. He's not in there, and then he just appears like magic. Look, here he is. Go on, here he comes. There, just fades in. I don't know how. Maybe they couldn't afford a smoky effect, and they just thought, well, they'll just dissolve him in. It'll be right. But he's arrived. I mean, it's slightly better than in one of the Hammer ones. I don't know which one. I don't know if it was the horror of Dracula, aka Dracula, or the Dracula Prince of Darkness. I can't remember, where they're dealing with his coffins in the basement, and he just walks in the door and goes, "Bloody hell, what are you doing?" and then runs back out again. In this, he just appears magically. Anyway, so they're having a confrontation with Dracula, and this is where this is out in daylight. There's always daylight somewhere on Earth. That's the Gremlins argument, isn't it, from Gremlins 2? It's always after midnight somewhere on Earth. But he turns into a bat anyway, and but first the trailer part where Jonathan presents his massive cross that's nicely coated in probably some flammable gel. And Dracula grabs it and look, it all ignites, and a big gobbet of it drops onto Trevor Reeves' arm, probably. But consummate professional, he carries on. There you go, you fools! And I think this might be where he turns it now. I am a king of my kind. Yes, Carl Weathers died. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Haven't just found out. Yes, he did. Very sad. 74, 76, I can't remember, but very sad. And unexpected for me. I'm the last person I expected to die. But anyway. He's telling them that, he will live forever, and when they're long gone, he's going to come back and resurrect Lucy, to be his bride forever. He'll set her above. He says, I've had many brides, and I will set Lucy above all of them. So they didn't have a bloody painting of her, innit? One of his past wives that looks exactly like her. It's a wonder. But they didn't. There you go. Set Lucy over all of them. And then they think he turns into a bat. Yes, he turns into a bat and attacks them. In a slightly better, bat effect than we saw in the Hammer films. It's not quite, a bat on a string, is it? But there you go. He's swinging at it with his shovel. But it flies off. Meanwhile, Van Helsing notices sunlight streaming through this, where this is here. A bit of wood, and there's like a post propping it up. So he starts whacking it with his another bit of wood. As Dracula attacks Jonathan again. I've gone too far. Bloody hell. Starts attacking Jonathan again. He's holding this rubber bat up against his face. And then sunlight streams in. Proper sunlight, because we've seen it can be about in cloudy days and stuff like that. But obviously direct sunlight will kill him. And there we go. It comes streaming through. When it's ready, it's that strong is the sunlight. It's making wind come as well. But there we see the bat turns into a fiery bat. Sets on fire and it flies off. Not quite Fright Night, is it? Near enough, though. So there it goes flying off. So, they have survived. So he's putting his wafers, his communion wafers, not just biscuits. He's putting his communion wafers in Dracula's coffin. There we go. Why has he got this lighter area? I mean, I don't know. Just to show where he's lying, I suppose. But Anyway, so he puts it around. So Dracula cannot return to that coffin. So they return to the asylum, and he's put Lucy in one of the cells, and because she said she became quite, enraged or whatever. And he says, Van Helsing says, "Have you given a laudanum?" He says, "What, my own daughter? Certainly not." He'll dish it out to everybody else, won't he? But then they're talking about Dracula's probably got lots of other coffins dotted about up here and there. So Jonathan says, "Well, we'll find them one by one." But anyway, so he's going to go see Lucy now, is Jonathan. Here we go. We see they've got her in a padded cell. Not very clean, is it? But here she is. She's asking what's happened to his face, and it's an accident. But he says he loves her and all that, and she wants to know what they were doing with Lucy down on earlier on when she were watching them through the window. And he won't say, I can't tell you, But he says, "Oh, don't you trust me?" He says, "I love you and all that." There you go, "I worship you." But then, and she's asking about that. But then she becomes all vampire-y. There he goes, all that "I love you" stuff, and they start kissing, and then, "Look, are you ready? Are you ready?" She's even got teeth and that. By the way, in this film, Frank Langella never wears teeth, just his regular teeth. One of his conditions of doing it, he says, "I don't want fangs and I don't want blood dripping off the fangs or anything like that." He wanted to be like Bela Lugosi, who never had fangs, did he? So that was his condition. But the others have fangs and scary eyes. By the way, following on from Bela Lugosi, who played Dracula in the stage play and then took it onto film. Same with Frank Langella. He played Dracula in the stage play on Broadway, I think, and then followed on in the film. So there we go. Anyway, she attacks him, and she's trying to bite him, and he's like, "Oh, crikey, help me!" But then Van Helsing comes in with the crucifix, and they force her down onto the bed, and her eyes go back to normal, and she grabs the crucifix and holds it. It's calmed her down. So, he's saying, Seward's saying his people will look after her. And this is Renfield. I have to have a drinky. Renfield's causing a kerfuffle, and Swales is taking Renfield's jar of bugs off him. And Castella, Daniel Garcia's here. This is a good old school Dracula flick. Yes, it is a good old gothic, like horror-ish. He's taking the jar of bugs off Renfield, so Renfield's not happy about that, and says he's collecting bugs and eating them alive. That's how he says it. So they're taking them off him, and they put him in a straitjacket, and before they do that, he says, "Well, take him, because I've got one here that you didn't find." And he eats that one. So anyway, they shove him in a straitjacket and shove him in a cell. And he's got a cellmate. There's somebody else in there with him that we see soon. But this is, I think this is Jonathan getting his revolver ready. It's all quiet before the storm. That's Seward and Swales playing cards. And Renfield's talking to a rat and saying, they could have had a kitten and I'd feed you to it. It reminds me of the Dracula Hammer films. They were actually trying not to be like the Dracula ones, apparently, but it does have a very Hammer film feel, doesn't it? It probably more so did with the more colourful theatrical release rather than the what they called unsaturated one version that came out, on Blu-ray and DVD. But yes, it is. It does have a very, because it's atmospheric, and it's very atmospheric. anyway, he's talking to this rat, and there you go. The kitten that I could feed you to. But then Dracula arrives. We see he's there with another inmate. Sorry, patient. And he sees Dracula's coming. He's coming up the wall. Mr. Swales is coming up the wall to get me. There you go. And then Dracula arrives, smashes through the window, and pulls the thing out, and just gets into the cell. So he's begging for his life. Renfield. He wakes up, whoever he is, and you know, I say he's begging for his life, and he said, "You warned them of me and all that. I offered you, you know, eternal life, and you warned them, but please let me live." And he has a really good death, better than the Renfield death in the Francis Ford Coppola version. I'm going to see it because he just twists his head round. Just twists his head round. There we go. Go on. Oh, Renfield. You disappoint me, so. Oh, for Pete's sake. But poor Tony Haygarth. There we go. And his cellmate starts screaming, and Dracula just I think he smashes through the door or whatever, and he's going in to get. He goes back out the window. That's it. He's going to get Miss Lucy. So they're all there. Sylvester McCoy with his pot of tea. They're going to the cell with Renfield to see what's happened to Renfield, and then they hear a noise from Lucy, where Lucy is, and there we see there's a big hole in the wall with lots of dry ice coming through, and Dracula's carrying her down the wall, and he's going to shoot. He's going to shoot his Jonathan, but Dr. Seward stops him. So anyway, so he hasn't got his horse this time. I don't know why. He had a black horse earlier on in the film. For some reason, he's just carrying Lucy on foot. Because when I watched this earlier on, I saw this here, and I thought, "Was this like a horse riding towards us in slow motion?" But it isn't. It's just him carrying Lucy on foot. Because I thought, "Oh, I'll be back with his horse," but no, he's just carrying her. And Jonathan's now. It's night time. It was like daytime before. Now it's night time. Jonathan's in his car, chasing after Dracula. He said, "Can't you make this thing go any faster?" But he gets to Carfax Abbey. Obviously a fast walker. And there we go. She's smitten with him. She is his bride after all. And then suddenly it's daytime. What's going on? What does that say? Wycombe, the following road signs. But then what do they call it? Not a cart. What do they call it? A wagon. That's it. A wagon goes past, and here we see this is Hindley, played by Joe Belcher, who you may recognise from An American Werewolf in London. He plays the driver, the truck driver at the beginning that gives with the sheep that has given the two lads a lift. It's him. He's driving, anyway, he's carrying some crates down to Whitby Harbour from Carfax Abbey. So there we go. So he's leaving England, so after him. But suddenly, obviously, Dracula's doing his magical stuff, hypnotism on the horses, and Joe Belcher can't stop them anymore. So they're out of control, and they're trying to chase him down. They keep catching up. He says, "Stop, will you? I'm doing best, aren't I?" But, they don't catch him. He gets away. They crash the car. They almost hit somebody else in a horse and cart. They still say, "Whoa!" But the wagon hits a rock in the road, and it throws Joe Belcher off, as we'll see in a minute. Hang on, there we go. There you go. Hits the rock in the road, and he goes off, "Aye!" and falls to his death. He obviously bangs his head. They crash the car. His car's broken now. There's Joe Belcher dead. So they'll never catch the wagon now. So they've got to head down 10 miles away. Why is it 10 miles suddenly? Don't know. I mean, Whitby's not that big. But anyway. So they headed to Whitby. That's not Whitby. That's, I don't know, somewhere in Cornwall. I can't remember. Does it say? Does it say where are we? It doesn't actually say. This might be Tintagel. I don't know. I've never been. It could be a bloody painting for all I know. I don't know. Anyway. Yes, that's why they invented seatbelts. Yes. You should have been wearing one. Anywho, this is supposed to be a representation of Whitby Harbour. It doesn't look very much like that. But anyway, so they've arrived and they find the carriage, but it's empty. And there you go. Get your fresh mackerel too, Bob a box. But probably said it in a Yorkshire accent. Get your fresh mackerel too, Bob a box. Anyway, so it's empty. And this chap in this boat says, oh, they took the things and they're on that ship over there that's just set off. There you go. The Zarina Catherine. So they offered to pay him to take him over to that ship. So off they go. They arrive at the ship. Must be a Russian vessel, maybe, I don't know. Named after Catherine the Great, I imagine. I don't know, but anyway. So they arrive and they go on board. There you go. Count Dracula's on this ship, and they go below decks. They go and they find them. They find Lucy. There we go, and Dracula together. Now, she wakes up, look, she's got the red eyes and her teeth and stuff, so they drag her out, and he's about to stake Dracula as Van Helsing when she screams no, and he wakes up. Hang on, in a minute. There we go. Hang on, I've missed a bit. There we go. He wakes up and he grabs hold of Van Helsing, throws him across the room. Obviously, that's not Laurence Olivier. Throws him across the room. And I think he impales, he stakes Van Helsing. He impales him because he's the impaler, isn't he? There you go. There we go. That's not Laurence Olivier either, is it? It's a stuntman, obviously. So he staked him. Don't worry, he's not quite dead yet. This is Jonathan shooting at Dracula. Look, and the bullets are just going through him. Luckily, not into Van Helsing. But obviously, the bullets aren't working. And his hair's gone all Londo Malari there, hasn't it? Never mind. So he goes and grabs hold of Jonathan, as we see in a minute. Hang on, there we go. He's grabbing hold of Jonathan. It looks like he's trying to twist his head off, but Jonathan's must be of sterner stuff than Renfield. So he's resisting, but Van Helsing's found this hook on a rope, and he throws it. There we go. It sticks into Dracula, and it must hurt. Maybe it's iron, because they always say, iron hurts vampires as well, doesn't it? As well as wood. But they're doing life force anyway. Leaded iron or something in life force, wasn't it? Anyway, so it's stuck in his back, so he can't get it out. He's like going, oh, crikey. But then Jonathan notes that he's underneath the hold opening thing, trapdoor, whatever it's called. And there's a big lever, to pull him up, for when they're lowering cargo into the hold. How can iron hurt vampires when blood is full of it? Exactly. It doesn't make sense. Back in those days, they didn't know iron had blood in it. Blood had iron in it. Anyway. So he's struggling, and he does the... there we go, he does that. Starts the pulley, wherever. And it drags him up. She's like trying to stop him. And it drags him up into the... up into the sunlight, because the sun's up. Direct sunlight, remember, kills him, because he's a gremlin. So he's struggling, and we see some shots of the sun. There we go. Don't know why they're using that. That was the editor's idea, apparently, to use like stock footage of solar prominences, and stick a because that would be black in a proper image. That would be black, so they've stuck that over the top. And it looks rubbish, and I don't know why they've used it. Before, they had a perfectly serviceable shot of the sun. See if I can drop on a thing of it. Because he keeps looking at it. He keeps stopping, struggling. There we go. Why don't they just stick with that? I don't know. That's perfectly fine, isn't it? No, they had to go to like a solar an astronomical stock footage. There, that. You know, giving it all that look. Looks rubbish. Anyway, never mind. But he's burning to death. There we go. All his skin's flaking off. It's like me after like an hour in the sun. But he's died as Dracula. She's gone back to normal as Lucy. But Van Helsing's dead. Jonathan's okay. She looks over at Van Helsing. We see that he's dead. But then, is it going to show it? There we go. Dracula's cape turns into a kite for some reason. Or maybe a hang glider. Probably a kite. And goes fluttering off towards a sequel that never happened. But she smiles because they're leaving it ambiguous. You know, just in case the film made loads of money and they want to do a sequel. That's why they did this. And she watches and then she has a little smile. If it's going to show us, for Christ's sake. There we go. She has a little smile. Her eyes are just slightly too close together, aren't they? Or is it just me? I don't know. But anyway. So she's smiling. So she's obviously still in love with him. And then the film ends as we watch the Dracula kite flying off over the credits. And obviously they've paid for this ship, so they're going to get some footage of it sailing away. And Dracula disappears into the clouds, never to be seen again. They did that though, by the way. In case they want to put that at the end, just in case there were going to be a sequel, to leave it a bit ambiguous. Was it just his cloak floating away, or was it Dracula escaping somehow? I don't know. But anyway, see, even though the score were by music composed by John Williams, it was orchestrated by Herbert Spencer. I've no idea what that means. Does that just mean he sorted the orchestra out? Because it said composed and conducted by John Williams, didn't it? So maybe he just put the orchestra together. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. So there we go. So that's the end of the film. Great film. I love it. It's my favourite Dracula film. It is. I know I rib it a bit, but I do love it because it's cool. There you go. Visual consultant Maurice Binder. There were another. I saw another person in this, and I forgot who it was. I'm gonna have to look. Let's see if it pops up. Was it? No, I thought would it before that or after? Somebody I saw in another film, and I can't remember who it was. Never mind. Don't matter. That cloak went on to co-star in Doctor Strange. Yes, it did, because it had a mind of its own, didn't it? Don't ask me what it's called. Anywho, so I've said that too much tonight. Anywho, I don't know why I'm saying it. So there we go. So that's the end of Dracula, 1979, directed by John Badham, starring Frank Langella and Laurence Olivier, and a cast of thousands. It's a good film. I enjoy it. Oops, pressed the wrong button. Meant to do that. There we go. Nearly pressed the wrong button again. There we go. It's a good film. I really enjoy it. That's it. Great acting by everybody. Just bear with me. There we go. Oh, I pressed the wrong button again. I don't know what I'm doing. I've done something. There we go. Oh, I've done something wrong with my computer. There we go. Now, where were we? Have yourself a merry little weekend, everyone. I haven't finished yet. Well, I'm just about to finish. What's happened to my hair? It's gone all mental. Right, so yes, that's a cool film. I really enjoy it. Give it a whirl. Like I say, it's out on Blu-ray and DVD. There's a special edition one by Scream Factory, apparently. But I didn't find it. I found this one on Amazon. That's the German version. I'm sure there's better ones. I wanted to give everyone a chance to read it. You did right. Right, what's coming up next then? So yes, Dracula. Give it a whirl. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. What's coming up next? Right, so what day are we on? Friday. Sunday it'll be my live news stream. I'm sure I'll mention Carl Weathers passing, which is very sad. Monday, hang on, where are we? Here we go. Monday. We've got a double bill, a Dread double bill. There we go. We're doing the 1995 Judge Dredd and the 2012 Dredd. I love them both. I do, for different reasons. But we're doing them, so we'll be, it'll be a long night. Hey, you should do a top 5 Dracula films and themes in general while you're doing your yearly thing. I think you've got enough to do. But it's an idea. You never know, I might do. What was that? Yeah, so Judge Dredd next week, Monday. Next Friday's appointment with Fear. Hang on, let me shift that. If you look on my channel, you see I've put a video up saying, it's up to the audience what happens next week. I've 2 films. I didn't know what to do, which to pick: Wreck or Quarantine, which is essentially the same film, but that's the Spanish original. That's the American remake. A good remake, a decent one. So I didn't know which to do, so I've put the option, tell me in the comments on the other video, not on this one, and the other video, which you want me to do, Wreck or Quarantine, or both. And I think it's leaning towards both next Friday. But anyway, right, we'll leave it there. So thanks, Wingrace. Thanks, Josh Kanapke. Good idea. Yes, over the yes, that one. That top 5 Dracula films. Thanks, Wingrace. Thanks, Joshua Kanapke. Thanks, Castellar and Josh Temple. No Sci-Fi Quest tonight. Is obviously busy doing something. He's done about 1 million videos today. Sci-Fi Quest. So he's probably doing that as well. Maybe he's playing. He said he was going to do a stream, didn't he? Hang on, let me check. An Assassin's Creed stream. So maybe he's doing that. Let me have a look on YouTube a minute, and then you can all bomb over to his. No, I don't think he is he? Hang on, subscriptions. Come on, my computer's slow today. What are you playing at? Oh, maybe not. Maybe he's just busy. It's Friday. He's probably gone to the pub. Don't blame him. Right. Yes, he's all tuckered out from marathoning 723 videos. Yes, he did a lot today, didn't he? Bless him. Right. So, Joshua says he hopes to join in on Monday. Cool. Yes, do. Right, we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Wherever you are, don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll say the... I didn't get myself ready again, did I? Where are we? Where is it? There we go. Bye.